All right, everyone. Well, let's get started. Hi, I'm Alex. Looking forward to sharing more about ClassHook today. If you're all here in the right place, you're in a webinar for using ClassHook to increase student engagement. So really excited to share more about that with you all today. As you mentioned, please introduce yourself in the chat so other people can get to know you, maybe where you're from, what's your role, and we'll jump in. We only have about half hour, so we're going to go through some things a little bit quickly, but we'll have time for Q&A later. So the agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about what is ClassHook for those that aren't familiar. Many of you are Google trainers coming to ClassHook for the first time, so wanted to do a little bit of intro there and talk about how you can use videos in the classroom because that's one of the ways that ClassHook supports you all. And then we're going to talk about some of the tools that you can use on ClassHook to increase student engagement in the classroom. And then we'll leave some time for Q&A. Just some reminders, please use the chat to ask any questions, and then please mute yourself if you're not speaking. I did make everyone muted, so please put your everything in the chat. Just a little bit about me. I am Alex. I am the co-founder and CEO of ClassHook. I started the company because I wanted to create that sort of excitement that you create in the classroom when you bring out the TV cart for kids. And so in a way, ClassHook is almost like a modern day version of bringing out the TV cart for your kids and getting them excited to learn and getting them interested in whatever you're going to be teaching them. I also enjoy reading about science and playing video games. I have played video games competitively a couple of years ago, and but since have been a little bit occupied with building ClassHook. So jumping right in, ClassHook helps teachers find educational movie clips. So if you are a teacher or you're probably working with teachers, this is a really valuable resource as your teachers are looking to use more multimedia in their lessons. So we have a curated video library of these educational TV and movie clips, over 6,600 video clips on anything from math to poetry. So we'll have video clips from The Simpsons or Frozen or The Office, supporting a wide range of grade levels and students. And you can find that all on ClassHook, hand curated by our team. Our videos are organized by topic and standard, so they're really easy for teachers to find. No more scouring YouTube, no more going on all these different sites to try to find some engaging video content. We have that right on the platform, all done for you. And then it's familiar and relatable material for students. So your kids are going to recognize the movies, the characters, the scenes. And we often hear that teachers are surprised or really happy to see that their students are surprised that they're finding their favorite characters on ClassHook or showing them in class, and kids get thrown off. And it's sometimes a really good, interesting feeling for them. So please put in the chat if you work with teachers or if you are a teacher yourself, how are they using videos today? I wanted to collect some ideas and some responses. And by the way, this is being recorded, so we'll have this recording out to you all after the fact as well, so you can get some ideas from everyone else. So I'll give about a minute for you all to share that. How do you or your teachers use video in the classroom today? One answer: to explain concepts, show examples of native speakers speaking. Interesting. Book movie comparisons, introduce topics, make real world connections, differentiate instruction. Love it, love it. Teach English and use scripts. Wonderful. So we'll get more of those answers in. And there are so many ways to use video. ClassHook, we've identified 9 concrete ways. Of course, there are many more, and you're all mentioning some other ones. but on ClassHook, we've identified 9 ways to use videos. Many of these um, are can be used interchangeably in the classroom throughout the lesson from the beginning, middle, and end. So one of the clear ones, hence the name ClassHook, teachers use ClassHook and videos is as a hook to get students interested in new concepts. But there's also a lot of other ways you can use videos: real world application critique, teach social emotional learning, exaggerate particular points, teach vocabulary. Now there's a whole host of them, and we have a page on ClassHook where you can view all these with some example clips as well. And of course, you're all mentioning some amazing ways to use video. That's the thing we love about video, is just so flexible, and it's such a dynamic medium that you can use in all these different ways to improve instruction. And they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, video is probably worth 1,000,000 words. So here's an example of real world application critique. People sometimes like to see examples. For those of you who know the movie, this is the movie Speed with the infamous bus jumping over the gap scene. As you can clearly tell, if this were to happen in the real world rather, it would not actually make it over the gap. So this is a really good talking point if you're a physics teacher talking with students about why is it not going to make it over the gap if it were to happen. What would actually happen in the real world? Why are these? What would it need to take to make it over the gap? And all these things. So you get to a really deep level of discussion about many of the concepts that students are trying to learn. And so this helps you check for understanding and also know if students really are gaining the conceptual knowledge you hope for them to gain. And what we're trying to do at ClassHook as well is help teachers use videos in this way to really deepen understanding, not just show a video on the screen and have students be passive viewers. So jumping in, I want to talk about some of the engagement tools, some of the ways you can start to use videos in this way through ClassHook. So we're going to have a slide on each of them. Feel free to follow along. I am going to go through them quick on your ClassHook account, but I'll have a slide on each of the discussion tools, and then I'll hop into ClassHook and show you what that looks like. And then we'll come back to the slides again for each of them. We have about 3 of the tools. So one of the first tools are pause prompts. These are questions you can insert in the video at different timestamps. And it is great for those reasons I just mentioned: checking for understanding, think, pair, share, writing reflections. So if you want to give your students a couple of minutes, you can do that. And to create one is pretty simple on ClassHook. Once you find a clip, you just go to the Discuss tab at the top, and then you just click Create under Pause Prompts. So I'm going to hop in to ClassHook. Let me stop my sharing, and then we're going to go to ClassHook. Give me just 1 second. Awesome. All right. All right. So I'm in ClassHook right now, and what you see here is you see all of the different videos. We have them organized by age range, by subject, and by specific concept or topic. So you can see it's very specific. This video clip on From A Knight's Tale on the Love Letter is about figurative language, more specifically simile and imagery. This one from The Good Places on euphemism, idioms, and so on and so forth. So let's say there's one of our really popular clips from Shrek where he compares ogres to onions. So this is amazing for a language arts class on simile. I'm going to hop in here. Just something to point out on ClassHook is that you get access to the video right from here. No going to Netflix or wherever else to try to find it. It's right here for you with a description and a lot of other information as well. And so let's go to discuss and then create. This is my demo account, so I have quite a few prompts here, but I'm just going to go to the moment where I want to place my question, and I'll make sure I'm sharing my sound here.
Throttle them, lay siege to have decapitated an entire village.
So let's say I just want to stop the video here, or I want to answer a question here, ask a question here, and stop the video here when I'm showing it to my students. You can ask, why is Shrek mentioning these things to Donkey, something to prompt your students. And we'll show you how you can create amazing prompts as well. There's another feature for that that we just released 2 days ago. So I'll be happy to share that with you all. You can set a timer or not, and then you can just add it. And so, of course, I have way too many prompts here. My students are going to hate me because it's going to stop every few seconds. But under normal circumstances, since this is my demo, it's an anomalous, but you'll have about a couple of prompts, maybe 2 or 3. But if you click on one of the timestamps, you're going to go right to that moment in the video where Shrek is talking, and then it's going to ask the question. And so, again, this is great for Think, Pair, Share to check for understanding, getting students more involved. It's getting them to be more active participants rather than passive viewers is what we're all about. And so you can have that discussion. If you need a few minutes, you can add that here too. And then once the timer ends, it'll continue playing the video. So as a teacher, you can have a pretty seamless experience. You can imagine playing this in full screen on the projector or on a Zoom session, having that conversation with students. And then once the timer ends, it's going to keep playing the video, and then you can it'll go to the next question or go to the end of the video. Wonderful. Vitor asks, can I embed a picture link in the text box? You can put links in terms of pictures. I'd have to double check on that. I believe you can as well. There are some restrictions on what you could put just because we were taking into account security. Great question. Mad, apologies if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Mad says this prompt doesn't need students to write or type anything. This is for a verbal discussion. If you want to, you can use this in 2 ways. One is you can assign the video clip to students, and then once they're in, and I'll show that really quick, you'll just generate a link. You can roster with Google Classroom, or you can create your own classes manually. And if I go in here, this is the student view. They're going to see the video clip and they're going to see all the prompts. And then once the prompts appear on the screen, they're going to be asked to type in their response. And they can do that here. And then once they've typed it in, I don't know is a common question answer you'll get. They'll get the responses from other students. So I've answered the same prompt in the past. So they'll see what all the other students' responses are for that one prompt. Only after they've answered, so that they're not biased and they actually think for themselves. So that's great. This is great for self-paced or homework activity. The prompt here with the verbal discussion is great for live in person or remote. And then there's also a live discussions feature where you can collect student responses from their own devices on these prompts in live real time. So if you want to involve the whole class, maybe you have a large class, you want all students to get their responses in, they'll get their responses in real time. So there is both the typing form of this and the verbal form of it. So you have all those ways to support your students, whether you're in person or remote. If we have some time at the end, I'm happy to show how to start a discussion. You can set up multiple clips and get students talking about all these different clips without leaving ClassHook, essentially. So it's a seamless experience. So we'll move on to the next tool. Please keep putting your questions in chat. The next one is clip comparisons. So clip comparisons are a way for you to compare and contrast multiple videos around a theme or an idea. So you improve conceptual understanding. You can do activities like compare and contrast, pros and cons. Even for media literacy education, you can look at what information or what sort of bias is there in this video versus that one. I guess that is related to compare and contrast. But in this example, this is job smart versus not job smart. And I actually have that example I can show you all. And how to set it up is pretty simple. You just go to My Clips at the top, you go to Clip Comparisons, and then you click Add Comparison. Excuse me. And then we can walk through that really quick. So this is a really streamlined way to add those comparisons. And usually teachers are I'll hold off and I'll talk about that in just a second. So here's the comparison. This feature is still in development, but we love your feedback. But you can start using it today. So let's create a new comparison. Let's say I want to name it simile and metaphor, a common misconception for students. And then you can put in your lesson objectives here if you have one, and it'll show up on the screen. Maybe students can demonstrate their understanding of the difference between simile and metaphor. So I set that up. What you'll do is you'll just choose the clips that you want to compare, and then you'll choose the discussion questions that you will want to have based around those 3 clips. So if I want to add a clip, you just click add. I can choose for my playlist. I can bring in clips from my personal clips, which are videos you can bring onto ClassHook that are not in our library. Or I could just search. So let's just say I search simile. I'll add a clip we'll add more Shrek clip. And then let's say I want to add a metaphor clip. You just search for metaphor and we'll get this garden metaphor clip from Boy Meets World. And so now we've got our 2 clips here. You can view the details about them here if you want to refresh your memory. And you can also watch them right from here. And then we can add some discussion questions. Say, we want to say, how does Shrek approach the discussion differently than Corey from Boy Meets World? Just an example. And then you could add in as many as you want, reorder them. You can reorder the videos as you want. And we have plans to make this more accessible to students. Right now, it's mostly accessible by the educator. But once I've set that up, I'm all done. And I'm just going to go down to my simile and metaphor and click on that. And then right here, you can see I have the 2 clips side by side with my discussion questions at the bottom. No going to different tabs and PowerPoint slides and everything and going here and there. The more opportunities there are for transitions, and the more transitions there are, the more opportunities there are for students to get disengaged. So this keeps everything in one place and makes it really easy for you to just pop open one of the clips in full screen, have them watch it, maybe talk about it, and then watch the other one and then talk about it. As mentioned, we do have plans for students to watch these comparisons on their own and answer your questions. That's not built quite yet, but we're also open to more feedback. And then also incorporating these into live discussions where your students could respond to these questions in real time. So this increases student engagement by helping students think more deeply about the videos and abstracting what they're learning from the video. So not just what's happening in this one clip, but how does this one clip relate to other things in the world or other videos in this case. So getting students to abstract their thinking a little bit more and apply the concepts more broadly. What more fun way to do it than just compare different clips from different TV shows and movies. So that's another tool in your belt with ClassHook is clip comparisons. So you can use those again for any sorts of clips, whether they're in our library, or you bring them onto ClassHook yourself. The last one we want to talk about today, there are more, but the last one we want to talk about today are question templates, which we just released 2 days ago. And we're so excited to share them all with you. And what they basically do is help you create high quality discussions through some deep questioning. So we have over 200 templates and sentence frames that you can use, that your teachers can use really easily. As you can see, it saves you time creating questions because it has most of the question there. You just have to fill in the blank for maybe your specific clip or for your specific situation. So to access them, you're just going to find a clip, go to the Discuss tab, and then click on Question Bank. And so I'm going to show you that. So let's go back to our Shrek clip. And if you want to find clips from a certain TV show or movie, you can also just type that in the search. So I'm just going to type Shrek. And we're going to get to our many of our short clips, and I'll find ogres are like onions. And so under discuss, we're going to go down to the question bank. So you can set up your own templates to use in your clips, or you can go to our starter templates. And what we have for the starter templates is they're all organized by grade level, by subjects. We currently only have media literacy imported in here. We have other questions are more generally applicable. And then topics. So many of these videos, many of these questions are organized by Deb's web of knowledge. So, different levels of understanding. And so if you wanted to find clips that help students analyze, or that help students create, or help students remember, you can search for those sorts of questions that you want to use, and then just click search. And so you can see I have, let's just pull up maybe a middle school clip, a middle school question. How would you define blank, or how would you restate blank, or find the meaning of blank? So if you want to use one of those in your clip in your class, you're just going to click use, and then you're just going to fill in the blank. So how would you define a simile, maybe in this example? And then you can make that private or public, and then just add that to your clip. And then here it is right there as a discussion question. If you wanted to use that as a prompt, you can just click the little dots here and then click use as prompt. And then that will go in as a pause prompt right here. And then you can add that to the clip. And then your students you can ask that to your students. So you can use a combination of question templates and pause prompts to create high quality questions that you'll ask to your students when you're watching the clip. So there's my question. So just to show a little bit more about the question bank, we have all these sorts of questions, again, organized by Web's depth of knowledge and other topics. And if you browse through it, you'll see a lot of different ones. Some of the questions might have 2 blanks, so then you'd be asked to fill in both of those and such. So let me get rid of this filter. So yeah, this is a wonderful tool for your teachers to use to increase your questioning. One of the pieces of feedback we got was that teachers want to be able to just come in and quickly add a question that will help their students think or help their students remember. And this is kind of our response to it. If you wanted to create your own templates, you can just click add template. And let's say I will ask, what is, blank's response to blank, right? And then we'll add that. And if I want to use that, you'll use it, and you just type in Shrek or Donkey's response to Shrek, and then we'll add that question. So a real wonderful way to reuse it. These questions, by the way, are available on all of the clips across ClassHook. So once you've added a template, you can use it on any clip, and you can use the starter templates on any clip. So that's a great way to get teachers to think more deeply, or to get teachers to help teachers get students to think more deeply about the lesson content. So we went through a couple of tools. Let me get back to my slides. So we went through pause prompts, we went through clip comparisons, we went through question templates. We have a few more tools on ClassHook. So we have those live discussions I mentioned. We also have automatic profanity skipping and video search, vocabulary finder, different engagement tools to use to teach your students. The great thing is that we have guides on all of this, so you don't have to memorize this. We'll have a recording of this webinar, but you don't have to remember all of it. We have everything on our how-to guide and our how-to guides. Oops, sorry about that. Something just popped up. We have how-to guides on our help center. And if you're a Google trainer, you should have full premium access to ClassHook. So check your perks portal and look out for ClassHook. If you have trouble accessing it, let me know. Here's my information. Feel free to reach out if I can help with anything. And now I'll open it up to questions. So I'm gonna allow people to unmute themselves. Feel free to put questions in the chat. or talk out loud. Any questions? Vitor asks, can I upload my own YouTube videos? Yes, you certainly can. So I'll show you how to do that really quick. Are these videos already on YouTube, or do you just have the video file on your computer, Vitor? I'll hop into it meanwhile. So under, let's see, record some videos teaching the use of Google Classroom. Awesome. Yes, so you can go to My Clips and go to Personal Clips. And these are clips that you can bring onto ClassHook. So if you want to add it from YouTube, you can search for it, or you can add the link here. If you have your own video, you can upload it directly to ClassHook through just dragging and dropping or selecting it here. And then you'll add it. So I'll just show you me searching on YouTube. Let's say I look for video clips on Google Classroom. Okay. So these are results from YouTube. Let's just say I add this one clip, and I want to start it at, let's say, 3 minutes and end it at 7 minutes. So you can also do the trimming through ClassHook as well. We'll add that new clip. And then once I've added that clip, it's going to pop here at the bottom of my my personal clips. And the cool thing is that once you've added a clip of your own, you can still use all of our discussion features with it. So you can still create the pause prompts, you can still assign it to students, you still have the question bank, you still have all these features with the videos that you bring onto ClassHook. From Google Drive, we don't have import from Google Drive right now, but you can definitely download from Google Drive and upload to ClassHook if you would like. But we don't have Google Drive import right now. I'll note that as a piece of feedback, because we know a lot of teachers do use Google Drive, so I'll put that in for the team. Thank you. Awesome. Any other questions? Happy to answer. Oh, I see, Victor. So you'd want to upload to Google Drive and then just put in the link. The link could be from Google Drive. It's not going to embed the video in ClassHook because we don't have Google Drive as a supported provider. But you can put the link and I'll have the link there and people can access it. But it won't be embedded like it is with YouTube and all. Of course. Just a reminder, I saw some people trickling in. You will have a recording of this. And if you are a Google trainer, you have premium access to ClassHook. So check your books portal and look for ClassHook. And feel free to reach out with the questions. I think we're running at a little bit over time right now. But I can hop on and stay on for just a couple more minutes and answer any other questions that people have. My pleasure, Kim. And everyone, feel free to get in touch if I can help with anything. I am, available and love talking to educators. I always say it's the best part of my day when I talk to educators. So thank you all for being here today. Okay. We'll leave 30 more seconds for questions. If there are none, we'll wrap up at that time. But keep questions coming in the chat or talk out loud if you're comfortable. Okay. Well, thank you all so much. We'll send out the recording and some follow-up. Please don't hesitate to get in touch if you need anything, and thank you so much for joining.